Corey, absolutely bloody loving it. Let's go. Absolutely emphatic win. Like, that was absolutely ridiculous. Best gritty determination, what this city is about. Welcome back to the Hawks Hangout, episode 14. We're loving it. Corey, you've got a lot to get through about our sponsors. What's been happening, mate?
Mate, big shout out to our sponsors, Enable U2 and Principal Brewing. Just shout out to Enable U2. They're obviously pushing their socials a lot at the moment. So if you need a disability support service, make sure you hit them up. Nathan and Andy will definitely look after you. They've got lots of programs there for people to get active, including basketball programs. So get on board. Also, Principal Brewing. We are going to be heading there. It's been a bit of a good omen for us in this finals championship series. The two games that we've actually watched there, they've won. So obviously we're not going to watch the game there on Sunday, but we want to make sure we touch that surface. So we're going there for some pre-game drinks on Sunday. Have a little bit of a feed. They've got a little promotion going. If you're in your Hawks gear, you get your first schooner for free. So lovely. Enjoy a nice ice cold beer. It'd be really nice. They've also got a little bit of talk about being involved with the NBL 1 season coming up, which is going to be honest really quickly. The first home game is on the 29th of March. They're talking about bringing out a Hawks labeled beer, which is pretty exciting. I suggested, could we get a potential Hawks Hangout beer? And he said, oh, that could be a chance. So hopefully that could be there in the future. They've also got a new beer coming out. It's not too sure if I'm supposed to be saying this, so hopefully Meso's not disappointed with me. But they've got their own version of a Principal Gold Super Crisp. I had a little taste yesterday afternoon. It was absolutely beautiful. If you just like a really simple sessionable beer, like a bit like a Great Northern, you're going to love this beer. I think it's going to sell like hotcakes. So, yes, get on board. Two great sponsors. Thank you so much. Just one other thing before we move into our Game 4 review. I am doing a fundraiser for Mullets for Mental Health. You can see this shocking head of hair here. I thought I might try to get some funds raised for a great cause. Obviously, it's in the month of April. I've already put my little fundraising page up. I'll put the link to that up on our socials. If you can donate, it'd be much appreciated. I just did it yesterday and it's been a great response already. I've got $620 donated already. My target was $1,000. I said if I get to $1,000, everyone who donated will go into a draw. And then if your name gets picked out, you get to decide what I do with this mop of hair. So it could be you want me to grow it for another year. You want me to shave it. You want me to dye it whatever color you want, or you might even want to turn it into a disgusting skullet. So if you get on board, you'll be into that draw. I'm willing to do anything. It's such a great cause. 9 people in Australia die every day because of suicide. 75% of those are men. Even myself over the last year or so, I've had some pretty tough days. And I haven't always been the best in my life about talking about things, but I'd have to say that's probably the thing that saved me. Some great people out there. I don't want to mention any names in particular, but you guys know who you are. I'll give you some initials, KHBW. You guys have been great for me, being able to talk about things and open up. And if this fundraiser helps a couple of other people be able to open up and talk and not make a bad decision, I'm going to be super proud of this. So yeah, let's move on to Game 4 review, mate. What an absolute sensational performance. It was a bit of an ugly game, but talk me through it, brother.
Well, start off with absolutely fantastic turnout once again at the sponsors, at Principal Brewing. Feel so sorry for anyone that was living next door, is across the road, and was in the venue at that point in time.
And the chairs that were getting banged on the floor.
Corey and I were going. We were going towards the end there. Now, it was something different that they went off with. I think they caught Melbourne really off guard with Kell being out. They looked to change what was going on because what had been going on wasn't working for them and it had been close games. It was still, again, a close game with it only being 80-71, with the first half, Corey, only being 32-28. Now,
that was the lowest scoring half of the whole season across all games. I was actually shocked. Even people were saying to me, that's a Hawks' usual quarter time score.
Yeah.
And that's what the score was at the half. But I agree with you also what you said about Kell. I thought a lot of mind games, and I don't mind a few little mind games in the build-up. There's been a few as well in the lead up to Game 5, but not the other team not knowing whether he was playing. He was warming up. He even had a look. It's in these big games. Sometimes just 1% can be the difference, and a mental mindset. And I feel Melbourne are looking over, and then when they see, oh, he's not playing mentally, and I don't care if people admit it or not, mentally, teams will say this is going to be a little bit easier.
Yeah.
And once you have that in your head, that can be the difference in the game. So I think it was a brilliant thing. I don't know whether how close he was to playing or not, or if he's going to be a chance to play in Game 5. But I'm telling you, that's the difference. Huge. In that team's head, if they think, oh, for just a split little percentage that, you know what, it's going to be a little bit easier now because he's out, and the Hawks just came out, they changed the starting lineup. I liked it a lot. Oh, yeah. Chuck Day's in there. Hickey was in there. And they mixed it up and they just caught him by surprise. I loved it.
Yeah. And Corey, we won every single stat line that you could have won in that game. I think besides turnovers and besides points off turnovers, they were the ones that we won kind of collectively on either side. It was just a point blank. But the Hawks were 30 from 80 from field goal compared to Melbourne's 26 from 71. We were 9 from 24 from 3 compared to their 7 from 26. We're 11 from 15 from the line compared to their 12 from 18. We were 20 to 13 assists. The rebound count was 55 to 43, Corey. 15 of those were offensive rebounds, and they had 8 offensive rebounds. Now we had 7 to 4 steals, and then our bench points proved that myth wrong, Corey, because it was 30 to 13 bench points, and the Hawks ended up coming out and breaking 2 stat lines in that game. That the bench team, if they had played better, that team usually genuinely lost the game, while the Hawks won that. And they won every single quarter besides the second this time. They broke their streak of fourth quarters and they ran it home in the fourth quarter, Corey.
Oh, no, it was that spectacular.
29-23.
I think the 2 biggest stats you just said there would have been the rebounding. It dominated them on the boards. That obviously leads to second chances with offensive boards, but also limits theirs if we're getting the defensive boards. Also the assists. I think you said it was 20 to 13. I think when Melbourne get into more isolation ball, the Hawks find them easier to defend. When they're executing, which I've always said they're a very good team at executing plays, and that leads obviously to assists generally, that's when they're challenging. So if they're only getting 12 assists, that is a benefit to the Hawks. We want, even though Goulding can go off, we saw in that game, he didn't get many touches early, but when he got the ball, I even said to you, he's not passing this.
Nope.
When he gets limited on his touches, when he gets it, regardless of what is happening, whether it's a good shot or a bad shot, whether he's down low or on the perimeter, he's jacking it up. So that's not the type of offense I think Melbourne want or need if they want to win the games. So limiting their assists, I think, is a great thing. And the Hawks are always better when they share the ball. So 20 assists is very nice for the Hawks. I thought they were the 2 key stats.
Yeah, absolutely. But key players, Corey.
Yeah.
Davo, the dog, Hickey. You absolute beast. The deadly love bite. Got his chance to show us why he deserves to be a Hawk, why we signed him to that massive big deal, keeping him with the club all the way through to the end of 2027. Got his chance to be a starter, and he absolutely delivered with a huge monster, flirting with a double-double again, almost a triple-double again like normal.
He's flirted all season with triple-doubles.
22, 6, 8 to pair with 3 steals along with that as well. Now, he's the absolute energizer bunny, and he capitalized when Melbourne was just down and out. We were screaming at the TV for him to slow down because
that's his game,
we couldn't watch him.
That's his game.
And he just absolutely just delivered on that end.
He did, mate. And you know what? We were very critical of him early in the season with his chip talk. he got in early, and we were like, let's see how it goes. But I have to give him credit; he has delivered in that game. But my question is now, Davo, can you step up again? I heard him on the news the other day. He's saying he's had some sleepless nights thinking about this game. I know that obviously means a lot to him. But hopefully he can harness those nerves and put them into a positive place so he can deliver that sort of performance again. Because if he can do that, and after like talking up a chip, if he can actually play like he did and deliver one to this city, he will go down in the Hawks folklore. He will probably stand there with someone like a Damon Lowry who hit those 3 free throws. I know it's a big call, but when someone talks and they can deliver, mad respect. But there still is one more game to go, Davo, and you've been spectacular. And if you can deliver another incredible game, you may just be the finals MVP. And a guy who I sit near at the games, Mickey D, he predicted him crazily to be the MVP of the whole league at the start of the season. I said, I don't know about that. And he said, well, what about finals MVP? And I'm like, oh, so if he gets that prediction right, that could be one of the great all-time predictions anywhere. And this was pre-season prediction, not in-season prediction. So, Davo, mate, absolutely spectacular. But, mate, why do you think, like, we did win this game. Why do you think there's some of the reasons might have been why Harvey was so cold in this game, only 12 points?
I think because it's the pressure on him then, because he then had to drop back down. He was playing the 1. You know, we've seen him play these really, really hot and cold games when he's got to shift back down and playing that.
Bless you.
Bless me, far out. Playing that position where, you know, he's got to constantly have the ball in his hands. Now, he did finish the game with a 12-4-2 with 1 steal, with a positive plus minus of a positive 8. So, you know, he was still very, you know, contributive across the board. But, you know, he did hit 2 from 9 from 3.
Yeah.
He was very lackluster on the offensive end, but he did a lot in the middle to set up other people like your Hickey, like your Olbrich, like your Peatling, to get them more open shots.
Yeah, he was both him and CG43 were very cold in first half. I think there was a stat at halftime. CG43 was 0 of 7. Harvey was 1 of 8. Yeah. So combining 1 of 15, those two, is incredible. That's obviously attributing to the fact that they're getting the best defenders on them from both teams as well to try to limit them. But either of those players could go off in this game 5. That could be a real deciding factor. But I have to say, Harvey did come up with a real big, I think, clinching shot. I think it was 67, 59. He hit a 3 to make it go out to 11, and it was sort of like you could see he sort of knew and gave us a bit of confidence too that that's a pretty big lead with not long to go. I think it was probably around 2.5 minutes ago. It was a big time shot. So he's still got that ability in him. But I think Harvey being a little bit locked down, it opened it a little bit up for Hickey. I think that probably was the reason why Hickey was so great, is that they are so willing to let him go, but he didn't push it overly with the 3. He did hit 2, but it was 2 of 4.
Yeah.
Didn't take those 8 like he did in game 3. And I think that's the balance that we need. Mm-hmm. He needs to make sure he's pushing. All right. When we need buckets, push hard, go to the bucket. But when it's like at that game, if we've got a bit of a lead, you can push hard up the court, but then bring it back. And he did that really well in the 4th quarter when we had that lead. Now, mate, what do you think it was? Was it more that Melbourne was so poor offensively, or the Hawks were so great defensively? What did you think in regards to the result there?
Look, there was a few times where Wani was caught out on defense. You know, they were getting easy shots in the middle, especially Dellavedova. Also doesn't help that you're throwing arm bars into people's faces, mate. So get your arms out of there. But again, Melbourne protected species. We've seen it in the media lately. Nothing on Melbourne. But, you know, all across the board, I think Wani's had quite literally the toughest job of anyone in the league so far. He's come into these games and, you know, to get to where he's had to get to this season, he's had to guard the best. He's had to guard Jalen Adams. He has had to guard Bryce Cotton. He's had to guard Dellavedova, Goulding, Illy, and Clark all in the one game. Last series we were playing against Southeast Melbourne, and he had to guard, Sobey and Glover for the majority of the game. And, he did an absolutely amazing job. His stat line for this game, Corey, was 2-5-1 to pair with 1 steal as well. And while it wasn't all that great offensively, on the defensive end, I thought he had a fantastic game. But when you look at the defensive stats for our starters and then the 4 main guys who contributed off the bench as well, you have a look at their rebounds. You had Harvey with 4, you had Hickey with 6, Wani with 5, Days with a huge 11. Froling 4 before he went down with that untimely injury. Blanchfield had 4, Greeter had 2, Peintling had 5, and Lockie had 6. So on that defensive end, getting in there, crashing those boards and not letting Melbourne get those second chances, that was absolutely huge for us. And then to pair that along as well with all of our starters at least having a steal in them as well, that was huge too. So I think for me, it was a Hawks' great defense, and it was getting in there, getting it done, showing why this city is famous for being that blue collar, hard hat, down in the mud, getting it gritty, getting it done kind of team.
Yeah, I agree.
Offense comes and goes,
yeah,
but at the end of the day, defense wins those chips.
Yeah, I have to tend to agree. And Melbourne are very good. They've got some players who are good at making tough shots, and they did make some tough shots in that game. Like Goulding hit like a near halfway 3, and Delhi was like fadeaway,
king of mid-range
jump shots. But we'll live with that. The thing is, we can't give them easy buckets, and I have to say they didn't get many easy buckets in this game. We made them earn it. Now, if we need to do that again in game 5, I think to have a chance, it's not going to be easy. They will make tough shots, but if we don't give them easy ones, I think that's going to be a big part of us having a chance to win that game 5. So I tend to agree. So let's look at this huge game 5.
Here we go.
Preview. So firstly, I want to talk about how do we compete without Froling. Now, this is a big thing. Now, I'm going to talk. Lockie was absolutely fantastic the other night, but this happens a lot in sport, not just in basketball, across the board. If a key player gets injured mid-game, sometimes it's you often see a player just comes in and does an incredible job, and everyone's like, oh, what a performance. Oh, next week, they're going to have problems with this guy out. This guy's killing it. But there's a big difference, and I'm going to try to explain why. I love a bit of sport psychology. So when you come in mid-game, you're not thinking about it. You're just like, coach goes, you're in. You just got hurt. You're in. Let's go. So you just play. You play what you know. You know how to play basketball. You get out there and you play. You don't think about it. However, once that game ends and everyone starts talking about how good you were, you're amazing, then you've got, well, in this case, Lockie's got 4 days to think about it. He's got 4 days to be like, I'm going to be the man. I'm going to do this. He's only a 21-year-old kid. How's he going to
6 days younger than me, Corey?
How's he going to be able to do this? Like it's not easy. Yeah. It's not just like, oh well, yep. Oh, he knows now he's got to get the job done, and I hope he can. But I don't envy him. I don't envy him at all, and that's going to be a challenging thing. So that's a big part of this, and I hope people understand that it's not just going to be easy for Lockie to come in and do what he just did in that game. It's a lot easier. You'd see it in all sports. You see it in rugby league. You see it in AFL. You see it across lots of things. If player goes down, someone can step in that game. But then can they step up the next week and deliver again? And often you don't see that. So I hope Lockie can, and I hope he's confident, because it's going to be a very, very tough task for him. And I think the rest of his team, Froling included on the sidelines, need to surround him, keep him confident, keep him upbeat, because it's going to be really, 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 really tough. Now, how do you think we might cope, all right, with this loss of Froling? Like, obviously, I think probably offensively we miss a little bit.
Yeah.
But what do you reckon?
I definitely think offensively it's something that can be missed. Froling has the ability to get in there, hit some tough, mid-range shots, a few feet out from the basket over some, pretty top-tier centers and stretch forwards. But I think for the Hawks, it's definitely good on the defensive end. Lockie's got a little bit more athleticism. He's a little bit younger. you're looking at it from a rebound perspective, from an offense perspective, and from an athleticism perspective, I think we might actually win the tip and have control over the ball to start off with, which would be huge. That will get the crowd absolutely pumping, and you hit a tough shot right at the start there, whether that's a 3, it's an end one, it's a dunk or something like that. That will change the momentum of the crowd, the players, the bench, absolutely everything. That will control the tempo. We win the tip, we win the tempo. Now, for me, Corey, the starting 5 for this game, I do not think that Tatum will change what they did in Melbourne. I think they will come out and they will be absolutely hell-bent on keeping what was working. So our starting 5 will more than likely be for Game 5 of the championship series to win it all. Harvey, Hickey, Wani, Days, Olbrich. Now, some people might call me absolutely crazy, and we'll get into it in a second if he will play or not. But for me, having Trey Kell off the bench in a Bradley Beal type role, leading that second unit with Blanchfield, with Peatling, with everyone else that is on that bench, that is absolutely huge. That will throw mind games galore to Melbourne, not having Kell starting of a deciding game of a championship series. Now, whether or not he plays, Corey, that's up to, it's a game time decision. But from what we have heard and from what we've discussed with people, inside the team, outside the team, all the rest of it, it was like the 11th hour decision. It was about 5 minutes before they had to put the team sheet in before they were like, no, you're not 100%. We're not going to play you unless you're 100%. So,
yeah,
mate,
well, I'm going to tell you a bit of a remember the Titans quote, Coach Boone. He said, you don't replace a Gary Bertier. Well, I don't think you can replace a Sam Froling. So it's going to be super challenging for us. He is one of the heart and souls of this team. He's a co-captain. But I hope that on the sideline, you saw at the end of the game where they came together and made sure they surrounded him to make him still feel part of it. It was a special moment. It showed that they are a team and they care for each other. He's still going to have a huge role on the sideline. He's going to be a big part of this. And I know it's going to be a challenge, but we've got to look at some things, how in his loss, what could we get some positives out of it? Like you said, I think our rebounding with Lockie is a really active rebounder. He's quite agile. Darius Days is a really strong rebounder. He's got a big body. He goes up and grabs it and makes sure he doesn't lose it. He's got great hands. So I think in the rebounding, we might slightly get some sort of advantage there.
Yeah.
Defensively, again, these guys can probably switch a little bit more than what Froling can. So that could also be a little bit of an advantage. But I've got to have a big shout out to Sammy Froling. Our thoughts and prayers are definitely with you, mate.
Absolutely.
Sport can be super cruel at times, and unfortunately, bad things happen to good people. And this is an example of that. Probably a moment in your life and your career where you're just about to get your biggest contract of your life, and probably set yourself up to have that cruel blow after I think you hold the record for the most consecutive games in the NBL. It's just a tragic blow. But the Hawks community and I'm sure the team are going to be right behind you. Whatever happens, mate, in this free agency, I obviously hope you stay with the Hawks. My prediction, and I could be wrong here, but my prediction for 2026 and beyond, I hope that Froling will sign with us, a long-term deal. We'll do his rehab, and his brother Harry will be his injury replacement. I think that would be quite a nice little story. A comeback for one brother and helping out his brother who's been injured. I think it will be quite a nice sporting story. And even though this is not a very nice situation, but I think that's something that could potentially come out of a really bad situation. So, Sammy, all the best. Our thoughts are with you. Let's hope the boys can bring you this championship home. So, mate, big question. What do you think? Will Kell play?
Yeah, look, I don't think they're not going to play him. But as I said, I think if it's one of those things where he is going to play, if he's 150%. If he's 80%, he's still going to play. I don't think Tatum's going to risk not having him out there.
Is it possible to be 100? Is it possible to be 150%?
Hey, have you seen Hickey play? If you've seen William Davo Hickey play at the moment, that guy does not know anything.
If we get 1.5 players, I'll take that. That's quality. That's quality. But I'm going to say this now. If you said to me at the start of the year, before a ball had been bounced, a ball had been shot, that we would have a game 5 at home, and then you still said to me, you know what, you're going to have that, but you'll have 2 of your starters not playing. I'm going to look at you in the eye and say, I'm taking that.
Yeah. Now,
what it takes to get to a grand final, let alone get to a game 5, and let alone that be at home, we've never had that. I'll be grabbing that any time. So I know this is like, we could feel sorry for ourselves and say this, but this is an incredible opportunity. It doesn't come around all that much. So that's the way I'm going to be looking at this game, is that if someone said this to me at the start of the year, I'll be definitely grabbing this. Now, if Kell can play, that's a bonus. We obviously know Semi's out, unfortunately, but we got to go into this game. We got to be fearless. We got to play with heart, grit, determination, the Hawks way. We all know Melbourne probably has more talent. All right. But we have a team. We have a team. We have chemistry. We're there for each other. It was shown in the last game when they gathered around Semi. All right. It comes down, how much does this actually mean to them personally? How much does it mean to them to deliver something to a community that's been starved of success for so long? And are our players, are they worried more about being the MVP or getting the stats that's going to do it? Like I think some Melbourne players are, I'm not going to mention any names. Or are they just worried every basket they score and everything they do on the court is for the team? If they are worried about that and that is their only concern, they can get this done. Right? It's not going to be easy. No. I can guarantee you, if we think we're going to go in there and blow them out like we did Southeast Melbourne in game 3, it's not going to happen. All right. But it's not supposed to be easy to win a chip. We haven't won for 24 years. It's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be hard. You've got to expect it to be hard. You've got to expect to be prepared to win it late and get it done. You've got to have to leave everything on the court. It's as simple as that. Yeah. Mate, we're going to talk about to finish it off. All right. And I'm starting to get a little bit emotional. What would it mean to you if we can win it all on Sunday, probably around 4:30, if it doesn't get overtime?
Don't even put that in the universe, Corey.
All right. What would it mean to you if you are seeing confetti going through the air and it's red, black and white confetti and we're lifting that trophy? What would it mean to you?
I want to throw a quick stat in there before we get there, Corey. And, you know, it works hand in hand perfectly with that. Are you worried about your own stats or are you worried about doing it for the team? Because for me, that's Melbourne. They're more worried about doing it for themselves. You see it. Goulding, Clark, Illy, Lee, Delhi. That's it. Their bench does jack shit unless it's Clark coming off the bench and having 31 points because no one else can get it done. But they had the chance to seal game 4 and win it all at home and they could not deliver. Now, that would be absolutely haunting them. Now going and having those demons going that will at JCA last season for game 5, Tassie won it all 83-81. Now, every single game
I know, but are they gonna lose another game 5? That is probably my biggest worry.
That's the biggest question.
So experienced as well. I don't think that loss on game 4 is going to affect them mentally, if I'm being honest. That's my biggest concern. Can Melbourne lose 2 straight game 5s in grand final series?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
I personally believe yes, because when you look at the stat lines from last year, first game, blowout by 23 points. Then second game was a win by 5, win by 2, win by 2, win by 2. They have yet to blow out the Hawks this season. They've been blown out by the Hawks, but this series is yet to be a blowout. It's yet to be decided by over 10 plus points. And we have always said the Hawks winning plus that 10 plus points, it's very hard to stop them in that game. And we saw it they were up by 11 with not much longer to go, and it really gave them that energy and that drive to bring it all home.
Yeah, but that worries me too. I think if it comes down to this game, it's super, super close.
Yeah.
They have proven more times than we have that they are really good in those moments. I do think we need to have a similar sort of game to what we had in game 4. We get a nice little lead and then really manage that last 4 or 5 minutes with a lead rather than trying to manage that last 4 or 5 minutes when it's basket for basket. If it gets to a basket for basket scenario, I think that worries me. I don't think we're that great at executing there. We've shown we're pretty good when we've got a nice little lead at trying to manage that. Not so good when it's basket for basket. Yeah. So let's get back to it, mate. I need to know what
I've been avoiding the question
means to you. Come on.
It's one of those things, Corey, where someone asks you, how do you feel about this situation? Or, how do you feel about, your team coming this far? It's one of those feelings that you just can't actually describe, and you cannot put it into words what it would actually mean if the team won. Now, I wasn't around for that first one that we won all of those years ago. I've had to relive it through you. I've had to relive it through my parents who were there, to watch Damon hit those 3 absolutely clutch and crucial free throws to take us to the grand final. But it would just mean absolutely everything. Like, in my time, I have ridden the absolute highs and the absolute lows of this team. Being born in 2003, I was 2 when we had that chance in 2005. I was 7 when we had the chance in, 2010 and we lost. And then 2017, it's when I really started getting involved in basketball, especially the Hawks, being with you, with Dave, with everyone. And, I was 14 at that time and, was really starting to get into the game myself. And, we had come so far that year and we had just come so short of, getting it done. And then with everything that's gone on recently as well, you have a look, you've had Brian Goorjian come into the team. You've had all of these people come in. We came so close yet so far in, some deciding games in that series. And then, just to then absolutely dog shit to the worst record in the league and club history, to then building ourselves up from, that worst record in the league to a 2-7 start, to then, Tatum taking over and just like absolutely ridden the highs of the lows. And it's funny because we sit here and we talk about all of these bandwagon supporters coming on and, trying to gump in and get tickets and people complaining about the tickets selling out within 60 seconds. Well, you guys have got to realize, for people that have got those season membership tickets and stuff like that, they want to be there. They've got people that have been there since big shout out to but Lynn Ackroyd and Big Di that, go to the games and all the rest of it. Those ladies have been there since the start. For the past 47 years, those ladies have been there at every single game, cheering on the boys from the snake pit to the sand pit, and have ridden it.
And I do understand as well. I'll just slot in there just because I think it's important. I do understand that memberships are very expensive, and in this day and age, it's not always everyone's priority to spend their money on the Hawks. But myself, and I know you, and I know a lot of people you're talking about do make it a priority for them. So they sacrifice other things to be able to go to watch the Hawks. So that's how much it means to them. And I know I'm not disrespecting or bagging anyone else, but I just want people to understand that it's not just rich people who are getting tickets. It's people who make this their priority, and they put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into supporting this team. So sorry, mate, for your time.
No, it's all right. And I just want to finish that all off with that. You look at what the Hawks have got. We're a small town. We're a small city. We don't have the owners and the backing of the league. We don't have Andrew Bogut as an assistant coach / owner. We don't have Larry Kessman pumping our pockets full of cash whenever we need it, or selling us for $35 million and keeping $15 million worth of profit. We're a small town club. We are the foundation club. We're the only club that has played in the league since the start. Not only is it going to mean absolutely everything to the old blokes, to the old championship players, to you and me, but the kids coming through and what it's going to do for basketball, not only for the league, but for Wollongong as a small city itself. The Snake Pit has got one full-sized court and 3 very lackluster courts that, our games got cancelled last night due to a roof leak. This is going to do absolute wonders for our community, for us, and for just basketball in general, that you've got the small town club, the foundation club, winning it all after absolutely everything that they've gone through. And Corey, last but not least, I already know where this is going to go, but knowing your history with the game, with this team, what is it going to mean to you?
Mate, the Hawks, to me, it means family and friends. So Hawks brings family together, also brings friends together. I've been honoured to be included into your family over the last couple of seasons. I really think that's a pleasure, and I feel honoured to do that. But the reason why, win, lose or draw, when the Hawks play, I know you can't draw, yes, overtime, but win or lose, that's not always the deciding factor in us going to the Hawks. It's about being with the people that you go with.
Yeah.
So since 2001, it's been 24 years of blood, sweat, and tears. The league has laughed at us at times. The league has tried to get rid of us at times. Games have been stopped. You just said at the Snake Pit, games at the WEC were stopped because the roof leaked. So we were a little bit of a laughing stock, and some people think an embarrassment to the league. So this would mean so much, not just to me. I don't even really want it for me. I want it for my kids. They got to, we took our kids to the games from when they were a tiny little baby. So they've been members pretty much their whole life. My daughter's 16, my son is 11. And my son, it would mean the world to that young fella. So I don't necessarily want it for me. I just remember what the feeling was back in 2001 when they won. I can still vividly remember the feeling, and I just want them to experience that feeling just once. I'm not even greedy.
Yeah.
If we can win it one more time, that would be enough for me, and I'm sure it would be enough for them. Yeah. Honestly, if they can get this done, it would just mean absolutely everything to me and my family and my friends who I enjoy all the games with. And I'm hopeful. I know for a fact, I'm almost crying now. I know for a fact.
I'll be in tears. I'll be
if they
inconsolable.
win on Sunday, I'll be a blubbering mess.
Yeah.
And I almost don't even want to allow myself to think about it. But that's how much I want. I just want my kids just to experience once how much it feels, how good it feels when you've supported a team your whole life.
Yeah.
Even when you're a tiny little baby going to games, growing up as a 1, 2, 3-year-old, jumping around, understanding. I remember earlier in one of these podcasts, I told you a story about how my son got emotional when we had probably our worst season of ever. And Harvey hit a 3 to send it into overtime, and he was so happy he had tears rolling down his face. That's how much this club means to family and friends. And it would just be a magical moment on Sunday if we can get the job done.
And this is what we mean by we're a small town that rally behind each other. Everyone knows everyone. If it's not me knowing Corey, it's Corey knowing someone that knows me. You don't get that in these big cities like Sydney, like Melbourne, and all the rest of it. Melbourne have had their fair share of championships, right? You go into John Cain Arena and their roof are lined with banners. They're absolutely lined with banners. You walk into the WEC, we've got 5 jersey retirement banners and our 0-1 championship banner. To start off the next season by raising another one into those roofs, you see what it means to us. You see what it means. I'm only just barely holding it together, but I know that I have to hold it together because I'll be a mess regardless. You've seen, Corey get choked up when he's been talking about how much it's going to mean to not only himself, but his kids and his family and his friends as well. You're not going to get that response from anyone else. You're not going to see these Melbourne players go and be crying and be like, they'll be like, yep, sweet, it's another one to add to the books.
This will be the biggest moment in these Hawks players' careers. And at the end of it, we just want to be singing We are the champions, my friend.
This is where you've got to bring back the theme song. This is where we need it.
Come on.
Bring it back.
Come on.
If they win, you're going to have a packed out house. Sab's going to be there. Matty Campbell's going to be there. Lowry's more than likely going to be there. Kevy White's going to be there. Demos is going to be there. AJ's going to be there. Everyone that is everyone.
Might be a sneaky Larry Davidson there.
Larry Davidson, mate. The thing is, it means so much to this community. Even the big Lockie Stevens himself, from his boy Elroy, win or lose, 500 cheesies on the house as a thank you for supporting the city, for supporting the club. Jack White and Marcus Lee are paying for all of them. We have heard by just laying the absolute bricks that they have this season. But to finish it off, Corey, we've got a few thank yous to get through quickly. Now, a big, massive shout out to obviously our sponsors. Principal Brewing enable you to our camera setup, our lighting setup, everything that we do this season would not be possible without them. But it would not also be possible without the three main men behind the scenes doing absolutely everything that you see that's going on. We would not have this beautiful program that allows us to deliver you this content as well. So a big, massive shout out to Josh, Ryan, and Jez over at the Basketball Fix. Without you guys, Corey and I would not have been able to, to get this close to each other, help each other through some dark times recently with our mental health. It's why, we're both doing mullets for mental health this year as well. It's been one of those things that without the three of you behind us, with that support, getting this off the ground, we wouldn't have been able to do it without you. And a big shout out to all of the other podcasts as well. Keep an eye on our socials. Big Birdo from the Tassie Takeover is over at the moment. He will be coming with us to the game tomorrow afternoon, sitting with us, sinking some tinnies, and hopefully watching the Hawks bring it all home. Corey.
Mate, you know what? I think we might. I just had a little thought. I reckon we might have to do some video footage of tomorrow to get up on our socials, just to get the feel of what it's like to be in a game 5. Yeah. In the build-up, we'll do some stuff at the Principal, in entering the stadium, at the stadium, little bit of in-game videos. You can video me going off like an absolute idiot. So I think that might be a nice little sneaky idea that might boost the socials a little bit. But I have to say also, huge thanks to the Basketball Fix. This has been a great thing for both Sam and myself, and we've really appreciated the opportunity, and we look forward to continuing this and working with you guys. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah. Now, like always, that is all we have time for today. We're gonna go rest because we're not going to be able to sleep tonight. I can already tell right now I'm not sleeping tonight. That's all from us. The next time you'll be seeing us, it's popping confetti cannons, or it's no episodes for about a month.
And champagne as well.
Fly,
you Hawks. Fly high.
Fly high, baby. Let's go.